Hello everyone, this is Karen Richardson and I will be your instructor this semester for facilitating digital communications. The main goal of this course is to help us work together to see all the different ways that we can communicate with our students online. Most of us are probably very comfortable communicating with our students in our regular face-to-face class. We know how to do whole group communication. We know how to discuss individually with our students. We know how to encourage conversations in our classroom. And all those same kinds of communications take place online, but they just happen differently. And that's really what we'll be exploring this semester is how to take those face-to-face classroom discussions and conversations and communications that we're probably very comfortable with and move them into the online forum. For the first half of the semester, we'll spend a fair amount of time in Blackboard using the Blackboard discussion boards. Threaded discussions, asynchronous ones that take place over time, are really at the heart of an online course. Even in this day and age of multimedia with audio and video available to us, a lot of what you do with your students are going to happen in online text discussion forums. And so the first half of the semester, we'll be spending a fair amount of time doing that, discussing things online, learning about how to discuss online, learning things that you can do as a facilitator to make those discussions better. And we'll be doing this by using what I consider and what many online instructors consider the classic of online discussions. And that's the textbook that we're using. Facilitating Online Learning by the authors that you see listed there is old. When you look at the copyright, you'll say 2001. But it's one of those that it really doesn't matter what kind of communications you're doing with your students, whether it is text-based or audio or video. The ideas that they talk about for furthering online communications can be applied to any of the methods of communications that you might explore. And they talk a lot about your role as the online instructor, about the variety of voices that you might adopt as an online instructor, and I think it will be one of those books that you will go back to again and again even after the course is over. I know I reread it every semester with my students and find myself trying out some of the tips and techniques that they provide for you. If you haven't ordered the book, you should order it right away. It's actually known as the Little Green Book in the field because almost every online teacher has a copy of it on their shelves. We're also going to be exploring lots of other ways that you might communicate online with your students. We'll look at a voice thread. We'll talk about synchronous communications in terms of being able to be online at the same time. We'll think about video. We'll look at Digo. I know you used Digo last semester. We'll be using Edmodo for the second half of the semester as a place where you'll be able to facilitate conversations. So we want to make sure that we're aware of how to do text-based, but we also want to make sure that we're exploring all those other tools that might be available for us as online instructors now that we've moved further into what Web 2.0 means. Everything's laid out in the Blackboard course for you, so I'd encourage you to spend some time looking through the course. There are basically 5 assignments that go on. Your threaded discussions, and then you will also be keeping web logs this semester as a reflection tool. I want you to see how threaded discussions are different from blogs and yet also have some similar characteristics. We'll be working on a wiki together, online instructors' tips and techniques, and you'll have the opportunity to contribute to that document and see how you might use a wiki as part of your class. Your midterm project will be to develop your communications guidelines for your students and get those into the course that you're developing. You'll also develop a lesson plan that takes advantage of an online textual discussion forum. For the second half of the semester, we'll move out of Blackboard and into Edmodo, and you'll be working in special interest groups in Edmodo, where each group will adopt a particular topic, and you'll explore that in Edmodo, and you'll have a chance to facilitate discussions and create activities for the other students in the class to take part in. And then your final project will be to create 2 more lesson plans that take advantage of some of the alternative kinds of communication tools that are available for you. So you might be using a voice thread, or you might be using Edmodo, or you might be using a blog or a wiki. Whatever it is, it's a chance to think about some of these alternative ways of communicating as part of the way you conduct your class online. My assessment techniques are different than other professors. If I didn't have to give you a grade in the class, I wouldn't. My goal is for you to dive in and learn at what you want to learn at the level that you want to learn it. And so this is the rubric that I use for assessing you, with the lowest amount being I didn't participate at all, and the highest is I impressed myself. When you tackle any kind of project in my class, I want you to worry less about what I'm expecting. I'll give you some guidelines, but more about how to make it your own and how to impress yourself. What would be, if you were the professor, what would be a good approach to this particular project or topic? And so I really want you to think about it in that way. I want you to attack each assignment with the idea of what's your best possible work that you can do. And then just a few general tips for success in this class, but really any online class, is please schedule it. I often joke with my students, I know you're busy during the week, but Blackboard is actually available Monday through Friday, not just on the weekend. So it's really important that during the week you try to just check in, see if anybody's posted to the discussion forum, or see if any new announcements have been made. And my suggestion would be to check in on Monday. I normally will send you an email on either Sunday evening or first thing Monday morning, letting you know what's happening that week. And the course is pretty much laid out on a week-to-week basis. So check in Monday, and then maybe Wednesday, Thursday time frame, and then at least once over the weekend, but maybe on Saturday and Sunday. And if it means that you have to put it on your calendar, then I would recommend you do that. Read closely. Take time with the texts. Don't just breeze through them, but really dig in and spend some time really thinking about what the authors are talking about. The text for the class can sometimes be deceptive because it seems very short, and so chapters kind of move along quickly, but there's a lot there, and so it's important that you really spend some time thinking about what those authors are saying. And then you'll have an opportunity to practice that theory that they're putting into place. I think sometimes as educators, we want to go immediately to the practice part. How do I do this? But you really want to spend some time thinking about the theory and then how you can put it into practice. And then finally, I'm not requiring DGO as part of this class, but it can be extra credit, as it were. But really spend some time exploring. Whenever I take classes, I see them as an opportunity not just to learn the content that's being presented to me, but spending some time out Googling around to see what else is available. So if it's a week that we're exploring a topic like Twitter, maybe take a half an hour and Google Twitter for educators or Twitter for math teachers, and just spend some time out there looking to see what other people have created and what other people have done, and then share that with your classmates. See this next 15 weeks as a real chance for you to explore this whole notion of online communications and perhaps learn things that are even outside the scope of the activities that I've created for you. I'm really looking forward to spending this semester with you. I think we're going to have a great time learning, sharing, and growing together.